Hey there, friends. We're back. So before we get going, I just want to do a shameless plug for our Facebook group, Life and Love After Death. If you're not in our group and you're looking for support or information or really just wanting to explore this growing phenomenon of continuing relationships after death, but also spiritual development, soul awakening. We're going to dive into that today shortly. I'm going to be doing a guided exercise meditation to help you connect with your future self. All right. So if you're here for any of that, you're into any of that, you're in the right place, right? And I just heard my husband in spirit saying, and even if you're not here for any of that, you're still in the right place because you cannot be in the wrong place. Everything's happening in perfect timing, in perfect order. It's just that no one really explained that to you. Okay, so big part of our work is to teach you that, to teach you the nature of existence and reality. You'd be surprised how many people who teach things like manifestation, for example, really don't even understand that. They're just trying to teach people how to get everything they want. Whereas what we tell our students and we're telling you is you the only thing that's going to fulfill you is if you get what you need, right? Because what you need is literally what you need. And if you don't get what you need, you're not going to be fulfilled. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to enjoy this life. And that's why you can look all around you and see a lot of people who get a lot of stuff that they want and they're still miserable, right? So it's not about that. Sometimes your wants and your needs can line up, but a lot of the times they're different. Okay, so if you're watching this video, whether live or the replay, we're going to assume that you're interested in figuring out who is my future self and why should I care, right? Why should I care about connecting with this part of me? Like, what is the benefit to me? Because really, it should be what's in it for you. You know, that is what life is about. What's in it for you? You're here for you. Sure, you're here to be of service, and we are for sure, but you're also here to get your needs met. Okay, not your wants met, your needs met. Because if you get what you need, again, you're going to be fulfilled, you're going to be abundant. Maybe not billionaire abundant, but you'll be abundant. You'll have all your needs met, which means you won't financially struggle. You won't be miserable, like living in poverty. You won't be struggling. You're not meant to struggle. Okay, you really are not. So your future self, as you can imagine, if you just think about the term, your future self has kind of blown through all the obstacles that you may perceive in your way right now. Now, that said, some of you are going to go, well, I want to get there already. Like, I want to be that future self now. Like bring it on. Remember that you're here in 3D to go through a process, a journey, right? It's not like you came here to get on the fast track and go from here to there in 5 seconds. Okay. You came here expressly because you knew that things would take time. You may not like it all the time, right? But if you wanted instant manifestation, you would remain on the other side. And actually, the larger part of you is still on the other side in spirit world. But there, you think of something, it's instantly there, right? It is. It's just instant manifestation. Here, there's a lag time. Your future self knows that everything's going to work out. It knows what I just told you, that this journey is a process. Like, enjoy the ride. Sure, we get it. Sometimes the ride doesn't feel that fun. If you're struggling or you're sick or you're worried or confused, etc. But you have all the tools within yourself as a soul because you're connected to all that is. And your soul knows who you really are. And you can feel who you really are by what emotion comes up, that it feels good to be who you really are, as opposed to it really feels painful if you try to be someone you're not. And a lot of people, including myself, have lived their life trying to fit into other people's wishes and desires and how they want us to be. And know that, wow, that just doesn't feel good. It cannot feel good. The only thing that will feel exciting, fulfilling, enjoyable is being you, right? So when you lean into whatever feels good, or at least feels better than what you're contemplating, like one thing feels better than the other, then you're on the right track and you are leaning into your future self who knows who they are, right? Knows absolutely. Your soul knows who you are. So, in many respects, you could say, and it would be true, that if you just let go of caring what other people think, you'll tap into who you are because that's just going to come to the surface. You actually have to work really hard to block who you are, really do. Okay? So, that's the first thing we want to point out to you, that not being your true self, not leaning into your future self, takes a lot of energy. And that's why if you're exhausted, it means you're going in the other direction because you're resisting. You're not going with the flow of your life, which is leading you to your highest good, leading you to more embodying your future self. If you just let go of the oars and said, okay, I'm just going to do whatever feels good to me in the moment, do it to the best of my ability without any expectation of what's going to come from it, but just keep choosing in every moment what feels good to me. What feels good to me, right? That's it. It is so simple, which is why most people have a hard time believing it, because we were brought up to believe that you have to struggle, you have to plan, you have to figure it all out, you have to work really hard, you have to just push and push and push. And that is the complete opposite of the truth, right? The people who do that are distorted. Yeah, they could have a lot of money. I'll give you that, because you can manifest whatever you want. You have the power to. The universe will back you up. Whatever you want, even if what you want is distorted, even if what you want hurts other people, even if what you want corrupts you and others, it'll still support you. It will. Because everything you think, everything you affirm, everything you believe is going to manifest. It's just going to come back right at you. That's it. So existence is neutral. It says whatever you want, back you up. But here's the kicker. If what you're getting what you want, when that comes to you, if it's not really what you need, it's going to ring hollow. You're going to feel empty. You're going to feel like something's missing, even if you did win the lottery or something. Even if you did get that hot guy to marry you who's a millionaire. And believe me, I've seen this happen. Women getting the guy they want and everything they want and going, I'm not happy. It's not what I thought it would be. Like he's great, but there's something massively missing. What's wrong with me? That's what they're saying. There's nothing wrong with that person. They just don't understand that it's about being true to you and knowing that your needs, including love, the need for love, will be met in your soul's time frame, not in your ego, physical mind's time frame. Okay, so people get themselves into dire straits when they go against the flow of their life. And we understand why that happens, because most people, maybe everybody, hasn't really been taught the nature of existence, right? Even people who teach manifestation don't teach the nuances of it, right? They don't go further into it. They just say, just think of what you want and you'll get it. And they go, yeah, you can do it that way. You can do it that way. And then, as I said, go, oh crap, what is this I just got? Now I got to deal with it. Now I got to live with it. Okay, so yeah, Alan is saying, yeah, there are nuances. So when you hear me say, yeah, Alan says, if you're new to us and new to our world, my husband is here in spirit, and he's constantly like chiming in, and his words will just come into my head. It's not like I hear him like a voice talking out here going blah 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 blah. It's more like I know what he's saying, and that's what telepathy is. Okay, telepathy is your mind becoming one with somebody else's mind, and you just know what they're thinking, like their thoughts are yours. I just know that that's him dropping in, and I get the message. So it's an incredible thing. Everybody can do that. Everyone can do that. Okay. So your future self is also trying to blend with you and give you those messages, give you those thoughts, because your future self is part of your soul. Everything is you, everything is your soul. Okay. So your future self is trying to guide you because you exist in the past, present, future. You're multidimensional. You exist in other realities. We don't want to go real into that, go down that rabbit hole, but you do exist in many different realities. And all of you is communicating with all of you, you could say, because all your experiences and all these other realities are kind of flowing into each other, okay, because that's how it's meant to be. So sometimes when you unexpectedly, without trying, feel like you had a shift that you had wanted, let's say you go, yeah, I don't know why, I just feel that doesn't bother me anymore, what used to bother me, or I feel better about this, right? You know that you didn't do anything actively. Could very well be that in another concurrent or parallel life that you're living, because there are no such thing as past lives. They're all concurrent, happening simultaneously. In that life, you may have made a big shift, you may have had a realization, and the you that is in that life, and again, your future self, could have an epiphany and go, wow, this is great, and have transmitted it to you because it was important and you were in the right state and it was ready and you came in. Okay, so you notice how sometimes you go to sleep at night and you feel a little bit off, and sometimes you wake up and you go, wow, I feel like something changed. I don't even know what I did. You don't necessarily have recall a dream of any sort that could explain it, but you just feel different because you are different. You're different all the time. What's happened is now that the difference is greater, that you notice the difference, whereas before it just seems like you're recreating your reality. But now your shift shows that there's been a bigger space, so you're more cognizant that and aware that there's a shift, there's a difference. Okay, but you're changing all the time. Right. Hope that makes sense. I'm looking here because we're going live. I'm looking at your chat. I'm not reading everybody's comments, but understand, please, that this is what Spirit wants me to tell you. And if you have been following me for a little while, even, you might have realized I'm a conscious channel. So when I teach you, I'm really speaking for Spirit. I've done that for decades. Didn't always realize that I was doing it until people started pointing it out to me. And they'd ask me a question and I would know the answer. Not my human self, because to be honest with you, I've taken hardly any classes, hardly read any books, because Spirit has been my teacher. And so I learned because people would ask me questions and I'd get the answer. It would just come through me. And so a channeler actually does work best that way when they're channeling consciously or in a trance in response to questions. You'll hear people who teach channeling say the same thing, because we don't know what we don't know until the question is asked and it comes to me and go, oh, that's the answer. That's great. Didn't come from me. And my spirit team said, we don't want you to be polluted by all these other teachings from other people that, while most of them are well-meaning, many are ill-informed because they wanted the transmission to be pure from the spirit world. And because I don't have, at this point for sure, any limiting beliefs, I'm very clear. I'm not attached to what I'm telling you. And I just an open vessel, if you will, right? So a channeler is only as clear as their beliefs are clear of limiting beliefs and negative beliefs, okay? But everyone can channel, but not everyone's a clear channel. But today, we want to connect you with your future self and help you understand that you can, in a sense, channel your future self, okay, because it's you. And right now, you're channeling your personality construct, this self that you created to experience 3D reality. You had to have beliefs of some sort in order to experience this reality. Okay. If you didn't have any beliefs, there'd be no context. You'd be like a blank slate. The paradox kind of is you come in with all these limiting beliefs. Well, most of us do, okay? Not everybody, but most people. Because on purpose, because you want to experience life, and you have to have some definition to who you are. But then again, the paradox is when you open up spiritually, you realize, wait, I'm not who I thought I was. I'm actually more open. In a sense, you're kind of more, I don't want to say that you're not human, but you don't have a solid personality construct. You realize, oh, I can choose to be who I want to be in the moment. You really tap into your being multidimensional, even multi-personality. Now, don't get freaked out like thinking, oh, I'm going to be like have multiple personality disorder. In a way, that's true, but not in the distorted, dysfunctional way you've been taught to think of it. Okay, but you are not who you think you are, right? So we're just talking about all of this to help your physical mind calm down with the idea of, wait, I have a future self, because your physical mind can feel threatened. It doesn't like change. It doesn't want anything to be different, especially when it comes to who am I, and it's going to freak out for some of you, not all of you. Some of you are going to freak out. Your physical mind's going to wonder, like, I can't do that. Like, that sounds really scary, right? But that is the truth. So we're just like talking to you to calm down your physical ego mind and say, no, you're still needed. You're still safe. You're still who you are. We're just saying you're bigger than you are. And this is for your highest good to understand that and to expand your sense of self, because you're going to be more empowered when you do that. You're going to feel freer. You're going to have less stress. You're not going to worry, at least not as much, hopefully, as you might tend to do, because you realize, wait, my higher self, my future self, my soul, all these parts of me, they know what they're doing. I actually know what I'm doing, unless I go against being who I truly am, in which case I really do not know what I'm doing, because I'm going off the deep end and going into fear, going into doubt, right? Going into panic mode. Yeah, then you're not your true self. Then you're going to experience life as limiting and chaotic, confusing. It doesn't have to be, right? So your future self knows everything's going to work out, because it will, promise you. It cannot not work out, because you're an eternal being, you're an eternal soul that cannot be destroyed, that is powerful, whether you're in a body right now like you are now, even if right now you think all hell is breaking loose, you're still powerful. You can turn things around in a minute. I'm serious. Things can change in an instant. I've seen it happen with people over and over. Things can always change. So you can always feel optimistic and hopeful. In fact, we encourage you to do that, because there's no point in feeling cynical and worrying about it, because you're just manifesting more of a situation to worry about and be cynical about. And do you want that? The only benefit, really, that's not really true. I'm about to say there's no benefit in worrying, but because when you benefit from it, this is not true. You're going to benefit from worrying. You're going to get more worried. So there's no benefit unless you want to experience the contrast, which some of you do, until you get sick of it and go, no more. So right now, I want to invite you to call in your future self, right? And really, your future self is already here because it is you. So when we're talking about you connecting with it, what we're really talking about is you becoming more aware, right? Because you have everything within you now. You know everything actually now. It's all in here because your soul is limitless. Your soul knows all. It does. It's part of God and all that is. When you understand that that's true and you realize that I just have to become aware, that's what you realize. I have to become aware of who I am and kind of reflect on it and feel it, let it out. It's all there. You just have to give yourself permission. You just have to say, okay, let me see how this goes. We're not asking you to believe us just because we say this. We're just asking you to give it a try, to genuinely give it a try, not to go through the motions and really be in resistance. Okay, to say, yeah, I'll do it, but I don't believe it. Okay, if you don't believe it, don't do it, because your belief creates everything. So all you need to do is say, I'm open to exploring this. I want to see how this is. I don't know. I'm neutral. Okay, if you're at least neutral, you're open to what may unfold, right? So close your eyes. Let's get into this. And take a deep breath in. And I'd like you to focus your awareness within yourself, right? We're going to go deep today. This is a frequency reset, meaning that we're activating this frequency of your future self, really activating it. It's there. It cannot not be there because you exist and you are evolving. So there's always a future self and another future self and another future self, right? Because you keep growing and growing and the future keep expanding ahead of you, correct? But right now, there's a certain future self that Spirit's telling me wants to be invited in, wants to blend with your energy field, wants you, if you're willing, to interact with you, to guide you, to give you insight, to drop into your imagination certain ideas, visions, thoughts, impulses, you name it, right? It's there already. So we're going to, with the help of your spirit team of guides and angels, some of you have a huge team around you, and that doesn't mean you're special, more special than anybody. It just means you may have a lot of work to do in this life to with serving others. I've been told by other psychics and by Ellen, I have thousands of, let's just say, guides and angels that are on my team because of the nature of our work. And you might too. It doesn't make me better than anybody. It's just kind of a hallmark of the work, the path I'm on. That's all it is. So take a deep breath in. On the exhale, set the intention to relax and go deep and deep and feel yourself not just relaxing, but expanding wider, like you're in a way just growing bigger, brighter, going higher, as well as going deeper. We say going deeper because we're encouraging you to reach deep into the core of your being, all right? To really feel the true essence that you are beyond your personality, which is just one facet of you. It is just one role you're playing. It is not all of you. So take another deep breath in And go deeper still, like you're diving underwater. Your spirit showing me like you're diving for gold, and the gold is you, is your core frequency that is undiluted, that is clear, it's not distorted. It's like they're showing me it's like a jewel. It's you, the brilliant you, the facet of God that you are. And that, they're showing me, is connected to your future self. So feel into that. See, feel, or imagine what it is like. Not would be, but is like, because you're doing this right now. What is it like right now in that concurrent life, living as your future self? What does it feel like? How do you move through your day? Ask your imagination to show you. Your imagination is not make believe. Imagination is the threshold to the other side. Really, it's more than that. It's the passageway to the higher realms. So, your future self will show you what it's like to live in this higher frequency. So, feel into that. We're holding this space for you to gently but deeply blend with and merge with this part of you that is familiar because it is you. Feel into who they are. Ask your imagination to show you perhaps what you look like, although that isn't as important as you might think, but just to give you a sense. What do you look like? How do you go through your day? Who and what surrounds you? People, friends, coworkers, whoever. And where are you living? Let go of doubt. Trust in the unseen. Trust in the unknown. Let yourself go. Go deeper. Go further. Go into the core of who you are. Your future self isn't necessarily perfect because you're always becoming more perfect. Okay, you can't ever stop growing. So how could you be perfect, meaning you reach a certain state and you never change from that? Impossible. You will just be constantly perfecting yourself. But where you are right now, your future self wants you to know you're perfect just as you are. Why is that? Because you can't be more than you are right now, or you would be. So this must be perfect. It is. It is not about having no flaws. It's about being authentic, being real, being true, right? Just letting yourself be you. So now your future self invites you to really step into feeling what that is like, to just be you without apology, without explanation, without worrying what people might think of you. Your future self doesn't care what anybody thinks because it knows if anybody were to judge you, that that person is simply distorted. And they're certainly not coming from love. They're showing you that they don't love themselves. And so they're acting in an unkind way. And you can ignore them. You can ignore them. Nobody's opinion touches you unless you allow their opinion to. So take another deep breath in and feel your future self kind of wrap their arms around you. Like step into being your future self in this moment. What does that feel like? Can you feel this expansion become greater, bigger, fuller, richer? And feel the blending of that. Now, in this moment of expansion, we'd like you to, if you feel guided to, go even deeper to this core essence of love that you are, right? This is you. You were created from love. You will return to love. You are swimming in a sea of love right now. Whether or not you're letting it in, that's up to you. But it doesn't change the fact that love is everywhere, in everything, in every person. There's nothing that is not love, even what doesn't look like love. Because God is love is God. Nothing exists that is not of God or of love. It's just wearing an illusion that it's not. It's displaying that for this reality. So see through the illusion, see through the lie, see only love. It doesn't mean you become, you know, just this airy fairy person who just thinks life is rainbows and unicorns. Although if you want to do that, we're all for it. If that works for you, go for it. Follow your guidance. Follow what brings you joy. We're not saying you throw logic out the window. We're not saying you become impractical or grounded. We're just saying see the truth of existence. All right, now take another deep breath in. And we're going to work on you energetically with your permission. If you don't want it, all you have to do is say, I don't want it, in your mind. That's it. Nothing happens unless you want it to happen. Our rule, our meta rule, which is a rule above all others, a rule that governs all others, is that only something beneficial happens when we work with you or nothing happens. Right? Only something beneficial, useful, will happen for you or nothing happens. I think you can live with that. I know we can. So right now we invite you to feel, if you can, that you've shifted because you have. It might feel imperceptible. It might feel huge. But you cannot not change. Impossible. It's a question of Are you aware to the degree that you've changed? The more aware you become of how and when you're shifting, the more positive change you will experience, because when you notice something, it's like you're giving it more power. Like, oh, yeah, I feel this positive shift. Because what you put out is what you get back. So if you want positive change, and understand that while things can technically change negatively, they don't really go backward. In other words, you can't devolve. Like, I'll go back to being worse than I was before. It's always evolution is always forward. It's forward facing. It doesn't go back. It's just you could experience it as if you went back, but you can't really go back. Just like you can't really go back to the past. You just experience the past in a different way from the present. So when you expect to notice shifts and changes, you make it more likely that they will occur because you're expecting it, because you're thinking about it. You're opening to perceiving the smallest shift, like, oh, I just feel a little lighter. Wow, that's so great. The more you acknowledge that, you talk about it, you tell other people about it, bigger it gets. The bigger it gets. This is manifestation, how it works. Do you see why we tell you that being self-aware is everything? And if you're not aware, then yes, you'll still change. You will. But what Spirit showed me, it's like you're going the slow way. It's like the pace of that change is glacial. Whereas if you're more aware and you're welcoming it and you're affirming it, and you're saying, wow, this is so great, and you're happy with whatever degree and level of change is happening, you're not pushing it going, oh, I want more change. You're saying the change is happening, is perfect for me. I'm loving it. It's great. Bring it on. I'm not resisting it. I'm not wanting more of it because I know whatever's happening for me is exactly at the pace that's best for me. I'm all in. As long as you go with the flow of that and you're noticing that you're evolving, you're expecting that you're going to change, you're not insisting on how you're going to change, you're just expecting positive change. If you do that, you're going to catch up with your future self. Well, you have to catch up with them anyway, right? Because that is you. But what we mean by that is everything will move as fast as possible for you because you're not putting the brakes on with your resistance, with your insisting that it be a certain way, that you get what you want instead of what you need. I don't know how to really make that point stronger to you about the importance of focusing on what you need as opposed to what you want. Because I have seen over these decades, and recently because I really got into these other groups where people are manifesting their wants, and I see how it destroys people to get what they want. It really does. Alan knows it's more than ever now because he's on the other side. He used to work with a lot of wealthy, powerful people. Most of these people were in Asia. And he says there were some of the most miserable and happy people he'd ever met. But yet some of them are a lot of them are millionaires, and a lot of them, had happy family life. But personally in themselves, he says they were empty. He says almost, this is too strong a term, but almost like soulless. You can't be soulless because you have a soul. But he says they're feeling like they were just the living dead. We don't want that for you. Okay, but that's what happens when people are brought up in a culture, and we're not putting down the Chinese. I'm not Chinese, I'm Japanese American, not putting down the Chinese. But in some cultures, not just China, but the cultures, it's like it's all about the money. It's all about the power. And people are not thriving. They're not happy. They're not fulfilled. They're just chasing the money. They're chasing security. They're getting all they want And I mean all they want, piles and piles of money, clothes, jewelry, cars, you name it, okay? And yet they're miserable, and some of them probably suicidal. Because when you're not being who you truly are, you are dead. That's it. And you'll slowly die. Maybe get a disease. Maybe take your life. But there's a lot of ways to take your life without taking your life, if you know what I mean. There are ways to take yourself out. And of course, a lot of people are just going to self medicate with drugs and alcohol. That's what that's about. These are people who have not been able to find a way to be who they are. Right? So if you are on this journey of connecting through the veil, whether it's to your guides or your angels or your loved one who you're wanting to continue a relationship with, the gift they offer is their unconditional love and their support and guidance to help you be who you truly are so you come alive rather than being one of the walking dead, which is most of the people on this planet. Most people are just waiting to leave this world and they're missing out on what they came here for. Your loved ones and your guides don't want that for you, but you have to decide what you're going to do about it. This doesn't happen by just sitting back and watching, even watching me, okay, or watching Netflix for sure, or watching other YouTube channels. It's like, what are you going to do? You live in a physical world, and it's about physical action. Your actions have to match up with what you believe to be true, because otherwise you're not anchoring your beliefs into physical reality, and it just floats away. There's nothing going to happen, really. So in closing, as we wrap this up, I just want you to take a final deep breath in, set the intention to integrate with your future self, and feel that shift. Whether, again, you feel it strongly or on a subtle level, it doesn't matter. Notice how you feel, if you feel different. It's gone to the point for me where it's bizarre. It's like I go through my day and I can feel these shifts. I can feel like I'm different. It just feels like I'm always kind of going into another reality, if you will, in some sense, right? So feel into what that's like to live and be your future self, knowing that your future self is always moving forward. So tomorrow your future self will be at another place, right? You're kind of eternally reaching for your future self, and yet in a sense never catching up, because the future is always the future. But you can lean more into it and then feel more joy and freedom, because your future self is always at a little further ahead, right? As you would expect it to be. So why not lean in that direction instead of leaning to the past where you may have had trauma or disappointment? Nothing good comes from just really focusing on the past. We're not saying give up your happy memories, your nostalgic memories. Keep them close to your heart, but don't live in the past. Live in the now. This is where all your power is. This is where your loved ones are. This is where everything is, right here, right now. So in closing, I just want to point out, for those of you who don't know this yet, in the next 2 years, you're going to see massive change, a massive awakening, if you will. It's already happening. You're already seeing it. More people, it's been predicted by us and others, I'm hearing it all over the place, other psychics are saying that more of humanity is going to wake up spiritually. Not everybody, because not everybody's here for that, but more people than ever before are going to realize that they're a soul who's having a physical experience, and they're going to pull away from traditional religion and understanding, wait, I have my own connection to all that is. I'm more than I was told I am. And they're going to be seeking answers. And this is why we are ramping up our efforts to reach people. In our work, it's about helping people connect to their loved ones, because we know that this journey is a journey of soul awakening. And unlike anything else you could ever experience, unlike any psychic development class, Alan says, unlike any mediumship training out there, there's no comparison. You're connecting to someone who loves you across the veil, is going to awaken you if you have the courage to step in and do the inner work that we put people through in their paces at times, in our academy or one-on-one sessions, and start zeroing out your limiting beliefs, because that's what is required. You cannot substitute psychic development classes for working on your personal and spiritual development. Psychic development isn't going to get you far. It just isn't. We say that to you all the time. We mean it. I've known this for 30 some odd years because I've seen it working with the psychic community over the years, and, kind of, well, I was kind of mentoring, not so much teaching, but working with, because I had to coordinate psychic fairs and things like that for many years, and I've seen that. So you don't want to just make that your goal, is to be psychic. That's like Alan's saying, that's first level, really first level. You need to go higher, much higher than that. You reach higher, psychic awareness just comes along with that. But if you just stay with psychic development, you're going to be frustrated, and you're not going to be living as your true self. And while you can have communication with your loved ones and your guides, it will be, just say, really kind of compared to what's possible, it will be scanty. It'll be there, but it won't be as rich and as fulfilling, as transformative as what's possible when you raise your frequency, when you open up to being who you truly are. I promise you, a lot of psychics, they're not being who they truly are. I'm not saying that's true for all of them, because there's always going to be exceptions. But now Spirit's just telling me, I would say 75%, maybe that's, they're saying that's modest estimation. 75% of them are not being who they truly are, because let's face it, people living authentically without any limiting beliefs, that is rather rare. Okay. And most psychics have not done that work. Okay. Some of them have, and they're amazing, but many, if not most, have not. But that's the first job you and I have to look at, right? Not just developing our psychic senses, knowing that when we work on clearing out the limiting beliefs, become who we truly are, who we are is fully psychic. And that just comes with the territory. You don't have to go taking classes. You just got to let go of your fears, your trauma, your limiting beliefs, and be you fully. And it is so liberating to be you, instead of trying to fit in a box that somebody wants you to fit in, right? I wish I could transfer that feeling to you. I was feeling that today when I was doing errands, and I could feel Alan with me. And I said, my God, I feel so alive. I've never felt this happy in this life before. And yet you're dead. And he goes, yeah, because I'm not dead. I go, I know that. But if anybody told me my husband would be, quote, dead, and I'd be happier than when he was alive, I would have thought, are you out of your mind? But here we are. Here we are. I wake up every morning going, what's going to happen next? This is an amazing adventure. What are we going to do now? How can we serve? How can we help? And Spirit's giving me all these ideas. That's my life. And I know it's not your life, but you have your own life, your own version of whatever that is. It's going to light you up. That's going to empower you, make you want to get up in the morning and go, what's coming? Bring it on. Knowing that everything is working out in your favor. We're going to be telling you this, teaching you this until I'm no longer in a body. I was just telling my son last night when we went out to dinner, I said, well, the good news is your dad wants you to know that when the time comes that I do cross over, and Taylor does not like to think about that. Okay, he doesn't want to even think about losing me. I go, but when you do, you know, when it does happen, when I do cross over, I said, it'll be like I just went into another room because by then you and most people will be completely psychic, will hear and see spirit. And so it'll be, and I kind of said, like, it'll be ... And he goes, what, like you moved across the country? I said, yeah, like I moved cross country. And now instead of me being physically with you, maybe we get on a Zoom call. And he goes, oh, okay, well, I'm not in a hurry for that to happen, Mom, but I get it. I said, yeah. I said, it won't really devastate you. You're going to just go, my mom said this was going to happen, and here we are. And I hear my mom, I see my mom, I hear my dad, I see my dad. Oh my God, they don't let me alone. They're more in my life than when they were in a body. I promised him that I wouldn't haunt him too much and wouldn't, try to be too intrusive. But I said, you're going to see what I mean, Taylor. You're going to see what I mean because your generation and younger and even some older, you're going to get it. Like there's no death. They're all here. Like we can interact all the time. It's true. So he said, Alan said, grief is going to disappear from the planet. Not immediately, but in time. Because we are going to have just constant communication. It's going to be like, oh, okay, Grandpa just died. I guess I'll talk to him next week when I go and meditate. And he'll give me advice or he'll tell me a story or whatever, right? Because there is no end. So we are just encouraging you to see what your future self knows, that's already done. That's done. Right? That humanity has fully awakened and everyone is telepathic and everyone is clairvoyant and everyone can see spirits. They're here right now. You just can't see it through your filters of your limiting beliefs, but they're here right now and you will see them and it'll be like commonplace. But you can lean into that in this moment and let that in. Okay, maybe you can't be fully there, but you can start to have glimpses of it because it's the reality. The reality is there's no separation between us and the spirit world. They're just in another dimension that is overlaid into this. Okay, and so they don't go anywhere, people. They're here. And you can engage, you can interact, whatever is appropriate for your soul plan. But if you're with us, if you're, especially if you're in our academy, I'd say 90% of you in the academy, you are on this journey. The only reason I don't say 100% because there's always going to be some people who are just trying it out and they're not really going to stay, and that's okay. That really is okay. But most of the people who find us, whether it's on YouTube or on Facebook, I've seen it happen time and again. The people who find us and go, I know this is for me, and they just like jump in, they're the ones that this is definitely on their soul plan. Other people, it could still be part of their soul plan, but their physical mind is still driving the bus. So they're like back and forth, well, I'm not sure about this. That's okay. That's okay, right? Because everybody's a different place. But your soul knows what's right for you. So if this whole idea of reaching through the veil feels exciting to you, brings a positive emotion, makes you feel joyful, makes you feel good, it is your soul saying this is something you came here to experience. So whether you do that with us or not, we are not attached to it. Just know that that's your truth. You don't have to join us in anything. You don't have to sign up for, a session with us or join our academy. Watch our YouTube videos. Do whatever brings you joy. Know that when you reach for love, that's you reaching for source, for God. That impulse to love, to be creative, right? To reach out to others. That's you opening your soul to all of existence, and this is what you came here for, or else you don't feel alive. If you're just sitting there alone doing nothing, just looking at the wall and feeling deflated. I'm not saying that there aren't some people who may be living in isolation for whom this is very fulfilling, because everybody's different, and some people came for that experience. But the difference is they're alone, but yet they're connected to all that is. And that's the difference, because they feel a connection, whether it's to God, to nature, to animals. It doesn't have to be to people. That's just the more common way, but they feel connected. If you don't feel connected, then you're basically just biding time. Okay, you are connected, because that's the paradox. You cannot feel disconnected unless you're already connected. But because you are not letting in, right, that love, that connection, you're just kind of living in a small way and letting your negative beliefs take over, then you're not going to live full out. Right. So that's all we have for you today. And if you're watching this, I'd say today is October 23rd. We're doing a Halloween Bridge to Heaven session in our academy. And my intention is to our intention is to blow everybody's minds with that. We might, Spirit said we might end up putting that out for sale for people who are not in our academy. But if you're not in our academy, you might want to get your butt in there, because the Spirit's been downloading me with all these things they want us to do to really turbocharge everybody's awakening process, because we are in this 2-year window where this explosive, massive awakening is happening. It's already happening. It's just going to keep growing. And so we want to keep pace with that. And we want to help our students keep pace with that too. Those of you who are with us, you are going to experience miracles that are just going to blow your mind. Some of you are already doing it. And we're talking about physical contact that becomes more consistent, more regular, more tangible, right? Like seeing your loved ones, physical, 3D, lasting longer. This is what the other side told me. Because again, as more people awaken, it brings everybody along, doesn't it? Because we're all in this together. So the wave is just building, getting bigger. It's just taking everybody further. This is a good time for you to decide what you're going to do. If you're not going to be with us, no worries. What are you going to do then if this is what you want? Find something that brings you joy to do, because you're not going to get there, most of you, by yourself. And because this is group energy is what fourth density is about, which is what we're rising to. And most people, always exceptions, most people cannot get there by themselves. That's what the other side said, because fourth density is a group vibration, collective vibration. So when you come together with people of like mind, you're all going to go further and farther. And it's going to be a more incredible experience than if you go solo. You go solo only if that's really what you're solidly guided to do. And if that's you, you know it, and you feel good, you feel happy, you feel alive, you feel vibrant. That's you. Go for it. God bless you. I wish you all the best. Most people, that's not going to be their path. So figure out what you're going to do. That's all. Or not. Or sit out in the sidelines while the planet goes through this major awakening. And maybe you're just here to be in the audience. I don't know. Me personally, I don't know. I want to be on the playing field. I want to be, where all the action's happening, where all the joy is happening, where all the adventures unfolding. I don't want to be a spectator in this game of life. I want to be a full participant, and I want to have fun, adventure. I want to share with people, laugh, cry, celebrate. We wish that for you too, in whatever way you're going to discover it. And, if you're wanting to join us, you know where to find us. Supernatural Love is our website, and our academy is Supernatural Love Academy. All the information is down below in the description. You guys know it. I don't want to annoy everybody. But be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and comment on our channel. And 2025 is coming, and oh my God, people, spirits told me it's just going to blow your mind. If you're ready, they're ready, we're ready, and just expect the unexpected. Miracles are supposed to be normal. Not having miracles is the exception. And if you stay with us, you'll know what we mean because you experience it every day, right? I can't wait for 2025 and beyond, right? So I hope you connected with your future self. If not, come back and repeat this. Okay, repeat this, because every time you repeat any of our videos, it will increase. It works cumulatively, right? Like over and over. So do that and let us know how you enjoyed this. Let us know progress you made. If you have any questions, post them down below. I will try to get them when I can. Until next time, take care. Blessings. Lots of love to you. All right.